I can't think of any more adjectives. I'm going to start running out of them to describe how very excited I am to be doing this series. So I'm pulling up on some really dope Chicagoans just to do a wellness check. 2020 has been such a crazy year for me. Really, really high highs, extremely low lows. But social media has been a place for me, like so many of you are, for me to stay connected with people that are in my network that I wouldn't be able to connect with because of COVID. So I'm taking safety precautions. I made sure the Jeep is sprayed. We have Lysol. We have hand sanitizer. We got the windows cracked so we can get some air in here, and we're wearing masks. So without further ado, we just pulled up and we're waiting outside to do a wellness check on a business owner who uses her platform to promote and support up and coming artists. And she's just amazing. So let me see. Oh, yeah. Here she comes. Hey, Shaneika.
Hey, Akisha.
How are you?
I am so good.
Good.
Yes.
You look good. I love this hair.
Let me tell you, it's a bit of a giant, but I'm getting used to it.
I like it. I like big hair.
Yeah,
I love it. So I just got done explaining to them, and I don't think I necessarily went into detail. I hope I didn't with you when I asked you to do this, if I could pull up on you, because I wanted to wait till I saw you.
Yeah.
I have been going through, like so many other people, a lot of different emotions and different things within this year. And you have been one of the people that has inspired and pushed me throughout it, because you were consistent. And I know I can only imagine what you have been going through in your own personal life, but you keep the brand moving and popping. And something that you did for me, and the reason why I wanted to pull up on you and tell you I appreciate you and do this wellness check and promote you, because you pulled me into the fold. You got me networking on social media because you invited me to do a challenge during COVID and like everything going on. And it was so cool the way you coordinated it and you organized it. If you guys don't know about the challenge that we did, make sure you go on our Instagram and check it out. It was a few months back, but it was just wonderful that you thought about me along with other powerful up and coming media moguls, and we did a very popular challenge. And it was cool. And then I see what you do with your platform, and I was telling them about the thing that I love about you is on your own platform you created an outlet for up and coming artists and for celebrities too, but I love the fact that they have a place with you. So I just wanted to say I appreciate you. You are a dope Chicagoan. We pulled up on you in the Jeep Wrangler to let you know how important and necessary you are. And please just tell us, how are you doing and how are you dealing with this year?
Just overall, this has been really tough, and I'm not even gonna lie. I don't know if people I feel like we're in a time where people just kind of like get in, talk about like all the positive, and with social media, like it's a highlight reel, right? But this year has been very tough. Like you mentioned, the challenge, that was something that I was doing for my sanity. When COVID hit, I lost my job, my 9 to 5. I developed anxiety, something that I never had before, because of course, you're nervous. You're seeing people like not making it through COVID. I have an underlying illness, and so I was just like thinking like, oh my gosh, like if I caught it, like, I could be one of those people that don't make it. So it was very difficult. And one thing that I turned to was like TikTok, and just like I really turned to social media because I needed something else to do in that house. So just even like me reaching out to you and reaching out to the other ladies that are in media and, people who I consider friends, I was just so appreciative that you guys even agreed to do it, because it wasn't easy. Like it was not easy.
It was not.
I don't know how everybody is like, they like TikTok famous and stuff. That's not me. It was a little bit of a struggle, but it was fun and to see the end result. So
it definitely was.
Thank you for even doing that. But this year overall, like with losing my job and then, developing anxiety because of everything that's going on for COVID, like that was really tough. And I had to make the decision to push through. I had to make the decision like, okay, I can't go out and get interviews anymore. I'm not going to events. I'm not hosting. Do I just stop? Does Shaneika Speaks brand get put on pause because of COVID? Or do I figure something out? I kind of made a switch because like you said, my platform is dedicated to that underdog. to the person who doesn't have all the followers, but they are a dope talent. So, you know, I incorporated a little bit of that in my brand, but I challenged myself to go over and beyond. So I started looking, you know, started reaching out and updating like my, you know, my emails and how I reached out to professionals and celebrities. And, you know, I got a lot of no's, but I got a lot of yeses too. So the Speak Up series was developed, and I got a chance to just like give everybody a platform to speak up about whatever was going on. So COVID developed something dope in the sense of everything that was going on, but I still got to do something dope. So
that's very wonderful to hear that.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy, because that was something I definitely wanted to ask you at some point is, you know, have you seen any light? Have you seen any positivity? And you just answered that question for me. So I'm really happy to hear that you are doing better and you found some light. So for all of the people out there, women or men, that want to pursue a career in media, that want to do something similar and build their own platform like you've done, and they don't have a lot of money, and then we are in a pandemic, you can't get out, you can't traditionally do how we did it before. We may never be able to do it, or at least we can't do it right now
in that capacity.
Exactly. What advice would you give to any aspiring media moguls out there that want to do what it is that you do?
I always tell people, like, you have to really want to do it, because a lot of the times there's not a lot of money in it. So it has to be something that you would do whether you get paid or not. So with me, talking to individuals, hosting events, like even if I wasn't getting paid to host events, I would still get up on that stage and do it, because that's my happy place. Interviewing people, finding creative ways to find out more about them, and also just building relationships. That's like what I'm so big on. So whether it's a local person in Chicago or it's a A-list, B-list celebrity, you know, when I was younger, I was just always really into music. So for me to be an adult and be able to talk to these celebrities and these artists who impacted my childhood, you don't even know how that makes me feel. Like, when I first started, the first person I interviewed, like for the Speak Up series, was like Murphy Lee. And to me, that was just like, I was terrified. Everyone's like, you know, what is he doing now? I'm like, it don't even matter. Like, that was a childhood favorite. So that's like, I'm freaking out. But I just tell people, just to get back to your question, like, they just have to love it. It has to be something that you would do whether you got paid, whether you got recognition or not. And whether anybody knew me as Shaneika Speaks or Shaneika whatever, I would still do this. So, you know, you just got to be dedicated and really want to do it regardless, is what I'm gonna say. I
agree. That's a really excellent point. So something that you did that I followed along with is you did Instagram live interviews, like you said, and you did Zoom interviews as well. I think you did some Zoom as well.
I did one Zoom interview.
Okay.
It was
mostly live, right?
Yeah, it was mostly live. Okay. It was different with Zoom because, you know, you kind of lose that interaction of people kind of like, you know, interacting. Sometimes the celebrity kind of want to see that, especially if they're not like actively doing something currently. It's good to still see the love. So what were some of the good things that came from the IG lives going through that process, and what were some of the more challenging things that you went through with that process? Because a lot of people did it, and I feel like with COVID spiking and with the way that the direction that we're going in, we may be right back on that, going down that way. So what are some of the good and bads about doing IG lives for you? It was so crazy because there were like 6 people that I watched on a consistent basis, like including myself, who was actually doing interviews on a consistent basis. So I think it became kind of like a friendly competition, but there was a little, like, I feel like fake beef sometimes because honestly, so that part wasn't so fun, like, because here you go, you have like these 5 or 6 people who are really doing interviews on a consistent basis, and those artists are rotating, you know what I'm saying? So you know, sometimes when you reach out to that artist, like, they were saying no because they already had somebody, you know, they already had interviews set up, or they were saying no because that, you know, maybe the 2 types of platforms are the same and they're talking about the same stuff. So I was getting that too. They're like, oh, we just kind of talked to a platform that was, you know, what is this specifically gonna talk to them about? What are you gonna talk to them about? So I feel like people were just like, how did she get that person? Or, you know, how did they get that person? And I did kind of feel that from a couple of people, which I won't name to be messy, but I feel like people were just like looking at my numbers like, oh, she only got like 4,000 followers. Like, how's she getting that person? Like, how's she talking to them? Not necessarily knowing like what my tactics were or my relationships were with the people. So that was like good and bad, because the challenge made me go harder, but it was like, still I feel like people were just like not being supportive and being like,
okay,
I'm better than her, why I'm not getting that interview. So
with that, just sorry to ask you a question on that. So these people, and like you said, we don't need the names right now, but at all. But were these people, how did you get this feedback from them if you're via social media? So how did you feel that kind of that hate or that competition or whatever? How do you find that out? You're not seeing them in person, you're not around them.
But I'm a person who knows how to read between the lines pretty good, and it was tight. Like, you know when somebody's kind of being malicious or somebody's actively supportive. Like if somebody sent me, like if you sent me a message like, oh my God, great interview.
Okay.
And even if you question like, like that was so dope, how did you get in contact with them? I wouldn't question that. Whereas some people who were like, well, how did you get them to do it? I asked, and like, and I was just like, I don't know. Okay. I went through my steps. You've had people I haven't had. You went through your steps. So, where it was, I did connect with one individual. Her name is Miss T-Talk. She's in New York. We became really close. And we, again, to the things that were hard and easy, something that was really hard was just the technical side. Because Instagram had this influx of people on Instagram all the time. Everybody's on live. So, of course, they had to start changing the platform. So here I am interviewing people on IG Live, trying to figure out how to save it. And then IG does an update where it's like, oh, if you don't press this button when you go to the next screen, you lose the whole interview. So with that being said, I humbled myself and reached out to another individual that I saw was doing interviews, which her name is Miss T-Talk. Shouts out to her. I reached out to her and she was so humble. Like she knew, we didn't know each other. We didn't know nothing about each other's platforms. And I said, hey, I see you're doing interviews. I see you putting the content out. How do you work this? And she literally was like, you want to hop on an IG call? And walked me through it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Made a friend out of it. Like, she's like, whenever you're in New York, let me know. I love Chicago. She interviewed Twista. She was like, she's like, whenever you're here, she was even giving me like, throwing me the oop, like, hey, this person is actively looking to do interviews, so tell them I sent you. So
very nice.
It was that type of thing that was great out of that platform, where I made friends, I made connections, and somebody who was willing to help me. So those were some of the great times of it. And also just talking to the people and building relationships with them, because they're going to remember that interview they did during COVID. So a lot of those people that I actually interviewed, I have like a relationship with them now.
Okay. So as we continue to, we're in the fourth quarter of 2020, and it's again, now we are seeing numbers and we're hearing about spiking. It's a gorgeous day today, but winter is coming. It is. So then that's another element, another reason for people to be at home and not be going out on top of COVID. So have you been able to strategize where you're going to take your brand? Because if this continues, do you have a plan? Do you have something in mind to just continue to separate your media outlet from the rest of the pack?
And that's a good question. Like, I'm not gonna stunt like I got it all together, because I don't, and I'm still figuring it out. The Speak Up series, I think I had like 5 or 6 people. I want to reintroduce it in a different capacity, maybe with some type of theme. So I'm thinking about it. I also have a full-time job now, which,
congratulations.
Thank you. Which was hard to come by in COVID, and that does allow me to be able to support my Shaneika Speaks brand. So I'm still working on it. I don't think I have a plan yet. I've mapped out some things. I'm a note taker, avid note taker, like in my phone, write it down. I like to cross things out. So there is a plan. There's framework. I'm gonna say there's framework. Okay. But I'm working on executing everything.
Beautiful. Well, I just want to say that it has been, again, a pleasure to watch you grow.
I appreciate that so
entertaining,
much.
Very entertaining at times. I'm hearing about the neighbors that live above you. I love seeing that. I love seeing you go out in your walks. I love seeing you in your element. You hosting. I love you did some makeup tutorials. Girl. I've been watching, just so you know.
I see. Lee.
Murphy
And, like,
Lee,
that's so
like that.
shining. Yes.
That really was like, I was screaming. I was excited because I know you talked about how he was a dream to get.
Yeah.
And being from St. Louis, like Murphy Lee, the St. Lunatics, like that for me was so cool just to witness and like keep going, girl.
I
like
was shaking.
get it.
I was so nervous to talk to him, and I met him when he came to Chicago briefly. I have to say, like, out of all the interviews I've done, even people who were like actively doing stuff, I was so nervous, and he was like so nice.
Yes,
like after the fact, like after we talked about it, like we still like communicate on Instagram.
That's awesome.
He tried to change my life and get me vegan. He was trying to tell me, like, you don't need the meat. Just eat the tacos with the veggies. Take the meat out.
Nice.
So every time I try to make something without meat, I tag him to let him know, like, I'm trying, but I love meat. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate you. To hear you even talk about the things that I put on Instagram, it shocks me so much, because I'm just like, nobody watching this stuff. I just use it as an outlet. It makes me feel good. But to know that the different things I've went through and the things I've posted, I appreciate that. I really do, because I see you too. I'm in love with Lockhart the dog. I'm in love with your puppy.
Thank you.
I love the unboxings. I sit there and watch it like it's really something. Like, come on, like what shoe is it today? Let me know. I want to know. I love that we can have this, and that we can support each other, whether it's like out in public, yelling it from the rooftops, like, get in touch with She's Got a Show, watch it, or if it's just at home liking something, and watching what you do. So I appreciate that more than you know, for real.
Thank you so much. So what I want to do, y'all, we're gonna switch gears. So Shanika's not ready for this, because we're gonna do a rapid fire game. But y'all are gonna have to tune in and check it out exclusively on my Instagram page. So we're gonna stop this interview on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, like and comment below.
Do it.
And I have more dope people like Shaneika that's gonna be hopping in the Jeep that we're doing wellness checks on. And again, so you all know, we got the Lysol.
Listen,
we got the hand sanitizer.
She got it clean in here, baby. The Rona is not in here. It's not in here.
And we got our mask on.
We do. And shouts out to my little sister. She's like so good with her crafting. Like, I told her how I didn't have any masks. She's like, you don't got no Shaneika Speaks mask? Like,
that's what's up.
She started customizing them. New brand coming soon. I don't know if it's on this side. Speaks Wealth.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that. Speaks Wealth. Y'all find out more about it. But yeah, this is so dope. I'm excited to be in the Jeep.
Yeah, thank you.
I watched the photo shoots in the Jeep, and I'm like, honey, I started following like the Jeep like channels on Instagram pages.
Yeah.
I don't even have a Jeep. I have an Infinity, but I'm like, I need a Jeep, because I want to. Y'all got a community.
We do. Gang.
Melanin, gang. Yes.
Thank you.
This is dope. I'm always excited to where anybody wants to talk to me.
Thank you.
I'm usually the one speaking, so
I know the feeling. So we're not done yet. So you all know who I am. I'm Akisha Lockhart, but who are you again?
I am Shaneika Speaks. Y'all get in tune with the brand. Shaneika Speaks Entertainment was birthed during this COVID season. So Shaneika Speaks, you already know. When I speak, everybody gotta listen. Bye, y'all.